Hey, 7th graders, last lesson in our chapter on minerals and rocks. It's going to be on the rock cycle. So on Thursday, you'll review and have a test. So our My Planet Diary fun fact called Rolling Along. The Himalaya mountains are eroding at a rate of about 2.5 millimeters per year. That's about 1/10 as fast as your fingernails grow. But the Himalayas were formed But the Himalayas were formed many years ago. So imagine the total mass of rock that has fallen down the mountain and that has been swept out to sea. Over many years, the piled weight of eroded particles will squeeze the bits together on the seafloor. New rock will form, then ancient bits of the Himalayas will be recycled into new rock. So how could small pieces of the Himalayas form new rock? They can be deposited on the seafloor and compacted and cemented together. One key question, that's what is the rock cycle? So let's find out. Forces deep inside Earth and at the surface produce a slow cycle that builds, destroys, and changes the rocks in the crust. Rock cycle is a series of processes on the surface and inside Earth that slowly changes rocks from one kind to another. Many pathways that rocks move through. There are many pathways that rocks move through for the rock cycle, So there's granite in the Stone Mountain near Atlanta, Georgia, and that granite moves into other granite, sand, and quartzite. The changes of the rock cycle are closely related to plate tectonics. Plate movements help drive the rock cycle by helping form magma, the source of igneous rocks. Where oceanic plates move apart, magma formed from melted mantle rock moves upward and fills the gap with new igneous rock. Sedimentary rock can also result from plate movement. The collision of continental plates can be strong enough to push up mountain range. So that would be the pressure. So here's an example of the rock cycle, kind of a lot going on. So let's start with igneous rock. So an example of an igneous rock is basalt, and granite is intrusive. So if something is weathered in erosion, it can turn into a sedimentary rock. So we have deposition, compaction, and lithification. So an example is phosphorus limestone, I believe that's organic. Clastic is sandstone. So then if that sedimentary rock is changed by heat, pressure, and or chemical reaction, it can turn into a metamorphic rock. And I think that's gneiss, which is foliated, and marble, which is non-foliated. Sorry, this is foliated. So pressure and heating there. Okay, if metamorphic rock is melted into magma, and when it solidifies, it can become an igneous rock. So if an igneous rock is also melted, it can again solidify into an igneous rock. If an igneous rock is changed by heat, pressure, and or chemical action, it can become a metamorphic rock. The metamorphic rock is has the process of weathering and erosion, then it becomes sedimentary. And sedimentary rocks can also be weathered and eroded. So see how pretty much everything can go back to a different one. So it's not like igneous rock can only turn into metamorphic and metamorphic can only turn into sedimentary. There's a lot of different ways that rocks can be formed using the rock cycle. Okay, so here's just another example. Don't worry about the words outcrop, so extrusive or intrusive igneous rock, then to outcrop, which would be sediment, so then weathering, erosion, transportation, deposition, burial, compaction, and cementation turns it into sedimentary rock. Then more burial, heat, and pressure turns it into metamorphic. If it melts, it turns into magma. When it cools, it's igneous, so on and so forth. So just a little simpler one there. And one more here, which gives you pictures of how they usually happen. So if we have igneous rock here, it uplifts to the surface of wherever it is, whether an erosion takes it and breaks it down, it's transported and deposited as sedimentation, perhaps in the ocean. It's compacted and cemented into a sedimentary rock, which is then reaches high temperatures and pressure, turns it into metamorphic rock, which melts into magma, such as in a volcano. and the magma comes from the molten crust in the mantle. So, one vocab word, rock cycle, a series of processes on the surface and inside Earth that slowly changes rocks from one kind to another. So, your assignment is to complete the modal questions for lesson 6. Let's go back and just talk about those. This will be a true-false question. So basically, the rock cycle is, and then whether or not it's true or false. Let's go here. So this will be a question. Basically, are there different ways for rocks to move through the rock cycle? So true, false again. Yes, true, that is possible. This will be on there probably as a fill in the blank. So maybe builds, destroys, and blank, between changes. There'll be a question about plate tectonics or plate movements. It's just how they help in the rock cycle. And I'll probably ask you a question in regards to like the weathering and erosion for igneous rocks, for the the compaction and cementation to sedimentary. So heat and pressure for metamorphic, and then cooling of magma for igneous there. So again here, so igneous rocks are changed by weathering erosion into sedimentary. So basically sedimentary rocks are created by weathering and erosion. Igneous is solidification. Metamorphic is heat, pressure, or chemical action. Okay, so that's that. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.